Mike's in Taunton. Mike, what have you got? Interesting anecdote or other pothole-related content?
Well, it's the bigger picture, James.
Oh,
so,
good man.
Until
good
recently,
man.
I was the councillor in charge of roads in Somerset. I resigned at the back end of last year for two reasons. One was that I was fed up of working 40-odd hours a week for £34 a day. That's what you get as the executive member for transport. But I was also fed up of the frankly hopeless task of trying to stay on top of the whole job. Yeah. We're very good here in Somerset at filling in potholes within the legally allotted time. But
which is 6 months, isn't it? Is it 6 months?
No, it's a week. It's a week. Okay. Once we know about it, we've got to fix it within a week or we're
Well, that's not happening, is it? That's clearly not happening.
It is here. We pay out on something on about 3% of all the claims we receive because we're so quick at fixing the potholes. But the reason they're there, the reason the potholes are there in the first place is because highways maintenance, the resurfacing, the money for it has gone through the floor over the last 4 or 5 years because the vast majority of the council's budget is now spent on social care. Yeah. So we're responsible for 9,000 people here in Somerset, roughly, children and adults. And that consumes about 70% of the whole revenue budget. And the way that we keep funding that cost, and it's massively increased over the last few years in terms of the number of people and the cost of delivering the service, you just hammer the highways budget and everything else. That's why parks, leisure, museums, all of that's getting hammered across the country so that we don't end up in the same situation as councils like Woking and Birmingham.
And this problem's not going to get easier anytime soon unless there are significant. You need a proper root and branch change to the funding and provision of social care. Really, I don't think increasing council tax would touch the sides, would it? It would just be a postponement of the problems you're describing rather than a solution.
It will get worse. So, the proportion of money that the council used to get from central government as a grant was more than half, and now that's entirely gone. So we're just left with things like car parking fees and all the rest of it. But before I go, James, can I just
hang on? You'll go when I tell you can go, Mike. It's not every day I get a former head of roads something from Somerset on the line. But go on, you speak first.
Well, I was just going to say, my invitation to take you gliding in Somerset still stands. I'm waiting for your call, James.
Oh, well, I'm thinking of moving there now, seeing as I'd be a lot safer on my bicycle than I would be otherwise. I mean, what is and I don't want to make light of any genuine tragedy, so I may well regret asking this question, but what is the worst thing that can happen as a consequence of a pothole?
Well, I think cyclists are particularly vulnerable to potholes, and I think there have been incidents, not in Somerset that I can recall, but there have been incidents in the UK of cyclists hitting potholes and dying. There was an incident in Kent, I think, recently, where badly maintained road signs were implicated in a coroner's case in the death of a couple in a car. So, these things have real-world consequences. They are important areas of council funding that need to be properly funded, but as I say, it will get worse until government properly grasps local government finance.
Do you know, you're a wonderful example of public service. The sincerity with which you speak about these issues, and they're issues I take the mickey out of quite routinely, but only in jest, only in love. But you're right; these things really direct. That's why you become a councillor, isn't it? Do you know what? What was your official title when you were in the job?
So I was the executive lead for transport and digital, and I really enjoyed doing it. But it wasn't a tenable position to carry on. I'm still a councillor, but I'm a humble backbencher.
Well, I'm going to give you one of these.
I'm Ray Liotta, and you're listening to James O'Brien on LBC. If you build it, they will come.
Seriously, you deserve that much.
I can't believe that.
No, well, I mean, your commitment to the role. We take a lot of time to mock politicians who couldn't give a monkeys about the people they're supposed to represent, normally at a national level. But there you are, a councillor, reach the end of your tether with the scale of the job in front of you as head of digital and roads, but still there doing your bit and making a really powerful case, non-partisan case, I should stress as well, which is important in this case, that council funding is the next massive iceberg that the good ship Great Britain is heading towards, isn't it?
It is. I've got a little tear in the eye now.
Oh, well, so have I now you've said that. They see, that's a proper reaction to the reward of the award of the Ray Liotta. Amelia Cox is here now with your headlines.